You ever walk into a room, could be, I don't know, a work thing, a party, maybe just queuing for coffee, and you see someone you'd like genuinely want to talk to.
Huh?
Maybe they just look interesting, or you overhear something they say, and then, well, your brain just hits a wall.
Hourly, that freeze moment.
Exactly. You want to say something, anything, but the words just, they don't come. Your feet feel glued down. You end up just kind of watching, maybe whipping out your phone to look busy. Sound familiar?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of wanting to connect, but being held back by some invisible barrier. It's incredibly common. So many people feel that frustration.
For sure. And that's exactly what we're diving deep into today. We've been looking into the core ideas from Rhodes' work, especially through a really helpful summary by QuickBook IQ on YouTube.
Right.
And our mission really is simple: to give you, the listener, some practical, sort of no-nonsense tools to handle those moments, to, talk to absolutely anyone.
Think of it as a strategy session, maybe, for breaking through that stuck feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Unlocking a more confident conversational you.
And what's really encouraging about Mark Rhodes specifically is that he wasn't always this super confident communicator. He actually describes himself as having been pretty shy.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, so his ability to connect, it's a skill he actively, consciously developed. And that's such a powerful message, isn't it?
It really is.
It means if you feel like, oh, I'm just not naturally good at this, well, guess what? It's learnable. You can improve.
It's not about flipping a switch and becoming a totally different person overnight at
No.
all. It's more about realizing, okay, deep down, you already have what it takes to connect. It's about chipping away at those fears, that self-doubt holding you back.
Mm-hmm.
Realizing that starting a conversation isn't some like magic gift only a few people have. It's a skill, like learning piano or French or whatever.
Exactly. A skill. And those anxieties we feel just before we start talking, they're real. They're
Oh,
valid.
yeah.
The fear of, not being liked or saying something stupid and feeling foolish, that basic human need for acceptance, those are big hurdles. We have to acknowledge them.
That internal critic can be so loud, can't it?
Relentless.
But okay, so one of the first really key takeaways from Mark's stuff is this idea of like actually rewriting that script, the one playing in your head.
Right. And what's fascinating is often the reason we're silent isn't because we genuinely have nothing to say. We all have thoughts, observations, right?
Sure.
The real roadblock is often the sheer weight of that negative self-talk, that stream of don't do it, they won't like you, you'll mess it up. It paralyzes you before you even start.
Totally. It's like the second you think about talking to someone new, this whole choir of what ifs starts singing.
Mhm.
And Mark points out, if you keep telling yourself, I'm shy, it becomes this like self-fulfilling prophecy. It shapes how you act, limits what you even try.
He uses that great analogy, doesn't he? Like tying your own shoelaces together before you try to run a race.
Yeah, you're literally tripping yourself up before you even begin.
Precisely. That label, shy, awkward, bad with people,
Mm.
it acts like a cage. It keeps you from even testing the bars.
So that's where consciously reframing that self-talk comes in, choosing a different story.
Yes, exactly. It's about actively picking a more empowering narrative for yourself.
Mm.
It ties into things like affirmations, the idea that our thoughts really can shape our reality over time.
And the examples he gives are so straightforward but effective. Instead of just defaulting to, I'm shy, maybe try saying to yourself, okay, I'm learning to speak with more ease, or I'm growing into confidence.
Hmm.
It might feel a bit weird at first, maybe, but the idea is by consistently feeding yourself that more positive, growth-focused language, you start to actually, well, believe it and then act on it.
Exactly. You're recalibrating your internal settings.
Hmm.
And when you shift that inner dialogue, it's not just about feeling a bit better mentally. It
Oh.
genuinely starts to change how you show up. Well, maybe your body language naturally becomes a bit more open. Your tone might sound more inviting. You start noticing opportunities for connection you might have completely missed before because you were stuck in that negative loop.
Okay, okay. So we're starting to work on that inner critic, quieting it down a bit. But then comes the, often the scariest part, actually starting the conversation. That first, hi, feels huge sometimes.
It really can feel like a mountain, yeah. We put so much pressure on ourselves, don't we? Like we need some incredibly clever, witty opening line that will just dazzle them.
Right, like you need to be Shakespeare or something.
Exactly. But Mark's advice here is just so freeing. He says starting doesn't need brilliance. It doesn't need perfect timing. It just needs you to be, well, real.
Yes, authenticity. He really hammers that home.
Yeah.
Be sincere. Forget trying to be someone you're not or having some perfectly polished line ready.
People can usually spot that a mile off anyway, can't they? When someone's putting on an act.
Totally. So what does he suggest instead?
Well, the examples are almost laughably simple. Things like, hi, I'm your name. Do you mind if I join you? Or maybe, excuse me, that book looks interesting. What's it about?
Right. Nothing earth-shattering.
Not at all. But they're direct, they're friendly, they show you're willing to make an effort. They're gentle nudges, not grand speeches.
They don't put the other person on the spot either. No pressure to suddenly be fascinating back.
Precisely. And the core idea is, most people aren't sitting there waiting to be blown away by your conversational genius. What they often open to, just on a basic human level, is a simple, sincere connection.
Okay, so you've managed the hello. The initial hurdle is cleared. What next? How do you keep it going without feeling like you have to perform?
Well, this is key. The secret isn't about you suddenly needing to become the most fascinating person ever. It's about shifting your focus outwards. It's about cultivating genuine curiosity about the other person.
Okay, that makes sense. Takes the pressure off me being endlessly interesting.
Exactly. Think about it yourself when someone shows genuine interest in what you have to say, asking real questions, listening. How does that feel?
Good. Validating, I guess. Do you want to share more?
Right. And that's pretty universal. So asking open-ended questions that let the other person talk about themselves. What do they love about their job? How do they get into that field? What do they enjoy doing outside of work? Questions like that give them the space to shine.
And it naturally takes the burden off you to constantly be scrambling for the next clever thing to say. If you're genuinely listening, you're reacting to them.
Precisely. You're engaged. Follow-up questions come more naturally. You're showing you're actually paying attention.
So genuine curiosity is like conversational fuel.
That's a great way to put it. It shows respect, makes the other person feel seen, and naturally uncovers more topics. Plus, if you're truly focused on listening, you're way less likely to be trapped in your own head worrying about what to say next.
Okay, something else I found really practical was his point about finding conversation starters literally everywhere, like right in front of you.
Yes, this emphasizes being present and observant. You don't need to pull some amazing topic out of thin air. Often, the best starting points are just part of the shared environment.
Right, like the music playing, or, I don't know, the weird art on the wall, the food, even if the elevator's really slow.
Exactly. These are all potential threads, things you're both experiencing right there, right then.
So just a simple observation about the surroundings can work.
Absolutely. It can be an easy, low-pressure bridge. Something like, wow, this playlist is really relaxing, isn't it? I can open up a quick chat about music tastes, maybe leading to bands, concerts. Who knows? It uses the immediate context as a natural launchpad.
Makes sense. Okay, but now, the big one. The fear that stops so many people before they even try. Rejection.
Yes, the fear of rejection's huge. That worry about approaching someone and them just not being interested. Being shut down politely, or maybe not so politely. It's a major barrier.
So how does Mark suggest dealing with that? Just get over it.
Huh? No, not quite that simple.
Mm.
He encourages us to really reevaluate what rejection actually means in this context.
Okay.
His crucial point is that someone not being receptive. It's usually not about you personally. It's not an indictment of your worth.
Right. There could be a million reasons.
Exactly. They might be tired, stressed about something else, maybe just not feeling chatty right then. The source material literally says, even if they seem uninterested, it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It just wasn't the right moment for them. It's not a reflection on you.
Don't internalize it.
Precisely. And get this really stuck with me. People who are actually good at conversation, they've probably faced more rejection than people who rarely try.
Wait, how does that work?
Because they put themselves out there more often, they try more, they understand that not every single attempt is going to result in a great connection, and that's just part of the process.
So it's like a numbers game, almost.
In a way, it's like anything where you take risks. You won't succeed every time. Rejection, in this view, isn't a wall stopping you dead. It's more like a wave. It washes over, it passes, and then you can try again when you're ready. It's about building resilience.
Okay, so rewrite the inner script. Start simple, be curious, use your surroundings, reframe rejection. What else is vital for building this skill?
Practice. Consistent, deliberate practice. Mark really stresses this. Talking to people is a skill, right?
Yeah.
And like any skill, playing guitar, learning to code, hitting a baseball, you get better by doing it regularly. You can't just read about it and expect to be amazing.
Makes sense. You wouldn't expect to run a marathon without training.
Exactly. And he suggests starting small, really small, with what he calls low-stakes micro-interactions.
Like what?
Things like genuinely making eye contact and saying have a great day to the barista, say good morning to someone you pass on the street, offering a quick, sincere compliment to a colleague. Hey, I liked your presentation slide on X.
Okay, those seem manageable, but do they really make a difference?
They absolutely do. These little moments, they kind of desensitize you to the act of initiating contact. They show you again and again that most people are actually pretty friendly or at least neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And each tiny positive interaction builds your confidence just a little bit. It reinforces the idea that, hey, connecting with people is generally safe, sometimes even nice.
So it's like building momentum. Small wins lead to bigger confidence.
Exactly. It creates a positive feedback loop. Each small success makes the next slightly bigger interaction feel less daunting.
Hmm.
You gradually shift from actively avoiding contact to feeling more comfortable engaging.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, while we're talking about the words, what about the nonverbal stuff? Body language.
Oh, hugely important. As the source points out, our nonverbal cues often shout louder than our words. People pick up on this stuff constantly, even if they're not consciously aware of it.
So what's the difference between approachable and not?
Well, think about closed-off signals. Slouching, arms crossed tight, maybe hiding behind your phone, avoiding eye contact. That sends a clear, don't bother me message.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Versus more open signals. Standing reasonably upright, arms relaxed, maybe a slight natural smile, making gentle, not intense eye contact. That signals I'm open, I'm present.
Do you have to fake being super outgoing, though?
Not at all. It's not about putting on some fake, overly enthusiastic performance. It's more about just being present in your body and signaling basic openness, even if you feel nervous inside, and that's okay. Maintaining calm, open body language can project more confidence than you might feel.
Okay. What about those silences? The awkward pauses that sometimes happen, they can feel awful.
Ah, the dreaded awkward silence. Yeah, it could feel like everything's just ground to a halt and you need to frantically say something.
Exactly. Panic mode.
But Mark offers a great reframing here. He suggests silence isn't inherently awkward. It only feels awkward if we label it that way in our heads.
So how should we see it?
As just a pause, a breath, a moment for both people to maybe process what was just said, gather their thoughts. He compares it to rests in music.
Oh, I like that. The silence between the notes is crucial in music. Gives it rhythm, space.
Exactly. Same in conversation. So instead of panicking and blurting out the first thing that comes to mind, just let the silence be for a second. Take a breath, maybe offer a small smile, glance around calmly. Then when you're ready, gently steer the conversation forward. It's not a dead end, it's just part of the natural flow.
Okay, that's helpful. Now here's something I found really subtle but powerful. Rethinking why we're even talking to someone in the first place.
Yeah.
Our intention.
Yes, this is a big one. It's about moving away from that common, often unconscious goal of just trying to get the other person to like you or be impressed by you.
Which we all do sometimes, right?
Absolutely. But the source points out, when your main focus is getting their approval, you're basically handing them all the power in the interaction, which can make you feel insecure, needy even.
Right, constantly seeking validation.
So Mark suggests a different intention. Go into the conversation genuinely wanting to see if you enjoy connecting with them.
Whoa, okay. That flips it.
It totally flips the script. You're no longer auditioning for their approval. You're approaching it with curiosity. Is this person interesting to me? Do we have common ground? You're exploring, not trying to win something.
So you're looking for a mutual connection, not just trying to be liked.
Exactly. And the fascinating side effect. This mindset often makes you more appealing, more magnetic, as the source puts it. When you're not desperately seeking approval, you seem more relaxed, more authentic, more, well, interesting. You're inviting connection, not chasing it.
And wrapping it all up, there's this really freeing idea. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to nail every conversation.
Thank goodness, right? This is about embracing imperfection, just showing up, being present.
Be kind, be curious.
Be reasonably open. That's basically it. Not every chat will be amazing. Some will fizzle out. That's totally okay. Every single attempt, even the awkward ones, is practice. It's growth.
And he really drives home that confidence isn't something you need before you start. It's something that builds as you take action.
Exactly. Confidence is the result, not the requirement. Every bit of eye contact, every small step outside that comfort zone, it's like doing a rep at the gym. It builds that conversational muscle over time.
Nice. And to really illustrate all this, the summary shared that story about Mark's own turning point, right?
Yes, the networking event story. It's so relatable.
Describe it in crowded room.
Yeah, crowded room, lots of noise. Everyone seems to know someone. And he's feeling that classic awkwardness, that strong pull to just retreat, hide behind his phone.
Been there.
Haven't we all? It feels like the safest option. But in that moment, he made a different choice, a conscious one.
He didn't give in to the urge to hide.
No. He took a breath, maybe straightened up a bit, put the phone away. And instead of scanning the room thinking, oh God, who do I talk to? He shifted his mindset to curiosity. Who looks interesting or maybe a bit lost like me?
Okay. And he spotted someone.
Yeah, someone else standing alone, maybe looking a bit uncertain near the drinks table. And here's the key part. No complex strategy. No killer opening line.
What did he do?
He just walked over and said, simply, hi, I'm Mark.
That's it.
That's it. And the source really highlights how ordinary the actual interaction was. It wasn't some Hollywood moment.
But the internal shift for him was huge.
Massive. The other person smiled, said hi back, introduced themselves. They started chatting, found some common ground. And in that simple everyday exchange, Mark had this huge realization.
Which was?
That the fear that had stopped him so many times before was, as the transcript puts it so well, paper thin.
Wow. Paper thin.
Yeah. It showed him right there that connection wasn't some magic trick only naturals could do. It was something accessible through simple action, even when feeling nervous.
Right.
It shattered that belief that he needed to be someone else or have some special talent.
And the message for us listening now is that same kind of moment is available to us too.
Absolutely. That's the really empowering part. You don't have to wait until you feel 100% confident and ready, because you might be waiting forever. Sometimes the biggest step is just choosing courage over comfort in that one moment. Taking this step, saying the hello, being open to what happens.
Okay. So wrapping up this deep dive on Mark Rhodes' ideas, the core message really boils down to, well, willingness, doesn't it?
I think so. Willingness to try, willingness to be present, willingness to be curious about other people.
And maybe most importantly, willingness to let go of needing to be perfect.
Yes. Recognizing that connection is a skill, a fundamental human skill we can all develop and strengthen. How? Through practice.
Yeah.
One conversation, one hello at a time.
Each little interaction builds that confidence, reinforces that reaching out is usually okay, often rewarding. So on that note, I want to leave our listeners with a thought, something that stuck with me from the source. Think about this. Who might be out there, maybe in your daily life, maybe at the edges, who is just waiting for you to say hello?
Ooh, that's a powerful question.
Right. That person you've noticed maybe felt a flicker of wanting to connect with but haven't approached yet. What's one tiny, manageable step you could take, maybe even today? Doesn't have to be huge.
Just choosing to take that small step, choosing to engage. It's not just about potentially connecting with someone else, is it?
No, it unlocks more for you too. More opportunity, more connection, maybe just a richer experience of life.
Absolutely.
Here's to taking those first steps or maybe the next steps and discovering the connections that are waiting. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Thanks for the great chat.